I do have a couple of questions here, and we will have some time for Q&A as we go along. But here's my first question. I'm sure I'm not the only one thinking this. But as a co-founder of both Andela and Flutterwave, you've built two of Africa's most successful unicorns. What were the key partnerships that played a critical role in scaling these companies? And what advice would you give a Nigerian startup, or what advice would you give to Nigerian startups looking to form similar global alliances?
Thank you very much, first of all, for having me. I'm very, very grateful to be here. I'm specifically thankful to Coach Linda for having me here and for the excellent work she does with Nigerian small businesses. I think the biggest thing I continually say about building these companies was that we learned very early to build a unique customer insight that's about how people wanted to experience technology in this part of the world, that we then scaled globally. That was really the core of Andela, Flutterwave, and even a company like Move, which is, I'm sure will very soon be announced as the third unicorn from our firm. And when, I will start with Andela, really, which is, when we started here in Lagos, we just realized, there was a lot of people, young people, productive young people looking for opportunities. But the country wasn't growing jobs as fast as more and more of them, now over 600,000 of them every year, were graduating from university and going into the workforce. And we thought, okay, where can we find work for these young people that is not dependent on the growth of the Nigerian economy? And we thought, well, we can look at over the internet. And, what we learned on that journey, the very specific thing we learned was there is unfortunately a disconnect between the investment required in picking up valuable skills globally that can pay very well and people's ability to make that investment upfront. And that was when we invented, quite literally, the concept of people actually getting paid to come and learn how to build software, and then we would make the money back off placement. And that model was exported globally. It started an ISA movement, and that ISA movement is now the foundation of a lot of education innovation around the world. But all of that started here in Lagos. Same thing with Flutterwave, recognizing that merchants were particular about just accepting whatever payment method the consumer showed up with at their till. And these businesses didn't want to be having multiple different payment methods to put in front of the customer. They didn't want to pay $1,000 to InterSwitch to connect to web payments. They just wanted a seamless and easy way to collect payments from their customers. And Flutterwave was one of the first to provide that seamless payments infrastructure through banks, and that cascaded to becoming a huge company. So I think it's really about, a lot of the time, small businesses play down whatever unique customer insights has helped them build an incredible customer base and grow. I think what I like to advise small businesses to do is don't do that. Don't downplay that quirk of your service. Don't downplay that thing. Don't try and do it like the US does it, because your customers are not Americans. And ironically, your customers are very much like most of the world, right? They're like, some of the things that we learned at Andela worked exactly the same in Argentina, worked exactly the same in quite a number of other countries. Some of the things we learned at Flutterwave, we found we could apply across Africa. We found we could apply in the Middle East. So you can become a global business with that quirk of your business that you think, this is just how we do it in Nigeria. That thing can actually be the seed of $1 billion business.
That's great. No, thank you so much. And like you said, it's easy for us to just think, we're just small players. But the strategies we're using here are working everywhere else as well. So unique customer insight. What are the unique challenges Nigerian businesses face when expanding globally? And how can they leverage strategic partnerships to overcome those hurdles, particularly in a rapidly transforming economy like ours, like Nigeria's?
Fantastic. And I mean, for me, very much like you, I think the times are very tough, but the way out has never been clearer. And I was telling Coach Linda this the other day. I said, look, we need to get our small businesses to be global. We need to get them to export globally. You go to China, you go to India, those small businesses have grown so big. They're serving people globally because of that transformation. You go to Indonesia, you go to the Philippines. Our small businesses need to rise above Nigeria's challenges and go global. But there are three big problems that I think they must overcome to do that. And you know what the first is? It's actually storytelling. Storytelling. You know, because most of us come from a market background, you know? Iya lata, iya tomato. So everything that we sell, we look at it as a commodity. Even when maybe we take great pains to put life into it and do it in a particular way and all that, because you must in a highly competitive environment. We've not mastered the ability to build brands out of our products, to tell stories. I was having a meeting this morning before I came here with an incredible Australian retail executive who just came here for a holiday, and we're just talking about. My number one thing is I sell Nigeria. In fact, that's the only reason I fight government. They don't do a good enough job of selling Nigeria. So I was telling her, there's a lot of opportunities here. What are you looking for? Don't worry, we can guide you. We can tell you what it is. And she said, look, I'm looking for somebody who can do manufacturing of clothes at scale. I said, we have. And I started looking through my contact list. There was a lady that came to mind, but she didn't have a website. So what would have just been an easy look at the website, became, I can't say that. So I said, I don't remember her name. God forgive me. But I'll get back to you later. So I messaged her, I said, Auntie, I must get your website up this night. Because at the end of the day, even if I know you, right, and I know you're a good, fashion person, and I know that you can do the job, maybe I just need to resource you or whatever. Well, you know what? The person I'm talking to, she has stakeholders to manage as well. So is she going to say, oh, my friend knows my friend knows my... No, now. No. So a lot of businesses today, all they need, and it's so funny because the people who actually do good work are inversely correlated to those that package. That's what I found in Nigeria. The people that package, all they actually do is package. They don't actually do any work. Yeah. But the people that actually do, because this auntie I'm talking about, she does a lot. Like she's very popular. Not just that she's very popular, but you can go and see her facilities. She has factories all over the country, all of that. But no website.
Understood.
So help us that are selling you. If you need websites, I'm sure there are many people that can get your website. There is no amount of money that is... A lot of people look at storytelling as an expense. Why am I selling that? But now, in a world that is digital and global, nobody would engage you if at least you don't have a website, if at least you're not investing in your social media. It's not about spending a lot of money. It's just about pulling it together effectively and doing it properly so that it looks put together.
Yes. And it's so interesting you said that and that you mentioned social media, because normally a lot of the SMEs here are doing very well with just their social media handles. Yeah. And so maybe that's why they're not really bothering about a website.
Yeah, but you see, social media works for your consumers. A corporate that is looking for somebody to do 50,000 shirts, 100,000 shirts a month, they're not going to go on Instagram. They're not going to come and ask you DM for price. It cannot work.
Yes, no,
so you need to,
yeah.
and it's not just about, I said one of the things is storytelling. I think that's the biggest problem. The second big problem is collaboration. The world is big. You don't have to do everything by yourself.
Yeah.
A bunch of you can get together and even find a sales agent in America, and they will sell what you have into the retail stores. You don't need to wait for somebody to come to Nigeria, then they now say they are taking 65% or they are taking 70% because they can speak Fune. You can actually find young people in America that can go and sell. America is not like Nigeria. It's not entirely man, no man. Yeah. Some parts of it is like that. But you can actually hire a retail person. All of you join money together. 10 of you. You're paying the person, $100,000 a year. A proper experienced retail executive to go and sell. And all of you will just contribute your quota and you will be able to do it. And you can skip all these finesse speaking people that come and pretend like they are the only people that know anybody.
All right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
The last thing I would say is thinking about scale, thinking about global scale, building operations and infrastructure and buying technology that can help you scale. A lot of our businesses are built on margin, which is not good long term. They're not built on scale. The reason why you have to be built on scale is because the world is very competitive. So you need to be able to say, look, I make money by producing what I produce at a lower cost, so I can pass those savings on to a customer. Because at the end of the day, if China is producing it for cheaper than you, guess where they are going to go? They are going to go to China. So those are the things that we need to get better at as a community.
Okay, well, that's a great one. We don't have a lot of time left, and
Yes.
I do have a few more questions, but I'm just going to ask you one more and then probably take some from the audience as well. So from your role in Nigeria's Presidential Council on Industrial Policy, how can the government better support Nigerian businesses in scaling? You were just talking about scaling.
Yeah.
Okay, and so, but then again, is it even a government role? But anyway.
Good point.
So, yeah, so can the government assist in supporting Nigerian businesses in scaling globally, either through policies that foster strategic partnerships, especially in the tech space and the investment sectors?
So, I think the government can, but it's not usually in the ways that we engage government. One of my disappointments with a lot of the times when you bring a bunch of business owners to sit down in front of government, they ask government for the one thing that I know government does not have, which is money. Let me tell you now, government does not have money. You're wasting your time. All these, they are announcement, now audio. You no go see the money. So when we sit down in front of government as small business owners, we need to start asking government for the things that we know they don't even need to lift too much of a finger to do. So I'll give you a practical example. Government has so many industrial hubs. If you go to Idu, right, so many industrial hubs. You go to Yaba, so many industrial estates where there's nobody there. So if you're a small-time manufacturer, you need a space to scale up a little bit. Government, if you come together as a group, because government cannot deal with one person. That's the other problem that we have. We always go to government to do our own. And then they end up just doing the one of the people that are related to them, not all of us. So you need to go there as a group and say, look, government, we can organize ourselves. Give us this industrial estate. Let's come up with a fair framework for everybody to get what they need. And then we organize that way. The last thing is policy and promotion. Again, you have to do that in groups. Go to the government and say, government, you need to make it easier for us to export, right? What can you do to make it easier for us to export? Those things don't require money, so government can do them. Even if government doesn't have the capacity to do them, you come together as a group. That's how Manufacturers Association of Nigeria and all these big people, that's how they take over everything. They just come together and speak as a group and say, this is what we want, policy-wise. And before you know it, it's in the newspaper.
Within that tech space, do you guys have this group as well?
Oh, yes. We, in tech, so I'll tell you what we've done in tech. In tech is very informal because it's still very small. But what we've done, for example, last administration, we passed the Nigerian Startup Act. The Nigerian Startup Act was funded by members of the tech community. We went to government as a group and said, we need a national innovation and entrepreneurship framework and policy. And we passed the Nigerian Startup Act to enable that. We successfully had one of our own, thanks to the president, get there as well. And he started to work on our biggest priorities, which is just 3: talent, infrastructure, and capital. Although now we're very focused on talent and infrastructure, right? So 3MTT program, fiber, connectivity, because if our customers cannot access the internet, they cannot use our products. And I'm sure very soon we're going to start talking about the capital side of things and how we can do more on that side. So there's a lot going on. And even in terms of trade exports, digital service exports, these are things that even now where the government is helping us with. The government just set up digital trade desks. So there is a model for how you engage government to actually deliver on these things. But it requires collaboration.
Absolutely, absolutely. Please, a round of applause for that. I think that has been shared very succinctly. I'm going to open up the floor now for any questions from members of the audience. If you have any questions for our speaker, please go ahead. I think there's a microphone down there. But, I mean, you've brought on a lot of things. We talked about unique customer insight, the importance of not downplaying that unique insight that we have, which could actually change the game globally. Our storytelling and positioning ourselves for the global market. That includes adding a website to your Instagram handle. It's very important. Collaboration is key, always. I feel like we always have a challenge with collaboration in Nigeria. There's a trust factor somewhere, somehow.
No, I think you know why. I think the primary reason why is because a lot of us see the world in a very small way. When you understand how big the world is, you know that there's space for everybody. The moment at the end of the day, we say we are 200 million people, but me and you know that all the people that are buying everything in this country is just the top 2 million. It's true now. Yeah. So I can understand why we will fight. But you see, there are 6 billion, 7 billion people in the world, right? Many of those people are much richer than we are. So rather than fight my sister or my brother for 2 million people, we that we are just selling to our friends, yes, why not fight for the whole world? Absolutely. So once your mind opens up in that way, you will see that collaboration is the way to go.
Awesome, absolutely. So any questions? Do we have any questions? Yes, so we have one on table 23. Please, if you could hand over the microphone to table 23. We have a question. Any other ones? Okay, well, last time, let me see. Make sure, because last time I denied you a question. Yes, I know, I'm sorry. Okay, so we'll take the next question from table 2 afterwards. So go ahead, table 23.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. And thank you. I'm not even sure if it's afternoon, actually. You were talking about tech, and I love talking about women. So I've got 2-in-1 questions. First of all, my first question is, when you're talking about tech, how many women do you have in the tech industry in Nigeria that you are focusing on as well? So a lot of times we find more men in the tech space than we do women. But the second thing is also, you were talking about websites, and it brought me back to 2011 when I started learning how to build websites using WordPress. And I just want to totally agree with you in that area of women really stepping up to have websites, people generally, but also learning how to build the website. So my question, which was the first one, was, what's the percentage of women, so maybe going back into schools and starting with the girl child, in learning how to use tech to become very confident in being able to step up into the global market and build? So that's my question.
Okay, so women in tech.
No, so I mean, women in tech is definitely a top agenda item. First of all, I think it's usually worth saying that in this country, men dominate most industries, right? But I think tech has leveled up perhaps better than others. I think right now we're about 39%.
Okay.
But we should be 50-50. That's my belief.
Rome
so
was
there's
not
still a
built
lot
in
of work.
a day, no?
It's more than a day. But, you know, my thoughts is we'll get to 50-50, but right now we're at 39, and we're not coming down. In fact, I'm on the board of the 3 Million Technical Talent Advisory. The holdouts in the country, because we actually map it, in the South, we're maybe even 60-40, to be quite honest. Yeah. If you're looking for a reliable engineer, you're probably looking for a woman in Nigeria, in Lagos. But in the North, that has been our holdout. But with the 3MTT program, we've actually been able to significantly penetrate, taking it from, I think, roughly about 3% to now, I think we're hovering around 12 to 14%, which is a lot. So I think, you know, the women in the North are amazing. I see women in Puda, hijabs, actually learning tech. It's going to revolutionize the North. So that's, you know, we're making a conscious effort to actually make sure that women are carried along.
Awesome. All right, thank you. And the question on table 2.
Thank you for honoring me again.
Straight to the question. Yeah.
Sure. So among your own discussion, I was actually very pleased to hear what you said. And I just want to grab those 2 or 3 key points, key words that you said and formulate my question, which is collaboration, which is government, and which is IT. Now, the government is trying to install a system in which it creates a visibility to the end user, whoever wants to have the access to their platform so they could use that platform for themselves. But in terms of collaboration with the government, sorry, I'm going to be here very explicitly on revealing things, right? You said that, yeah, that would provide the solution. Yes, that would provide. But does it not require money from table to table? I'm just asking.
Sorry, so I just wanted to understand the question. Did it require money?
Yes, so normally it's not a straightforward collaboration like, okay, I go to one table and then they give me the solution. No, they'll be passing me from one table to another. And so, every table I need to pay a fee for that is not actually required. It's not actually on their own.
Yeah, I understand.
Platform.
So this is why I said you must work in collaboration with your industry, not with government. A small business cannot collaborate with government. There's nothing, they will crush you. So you must be big to deal with government. You can see how Dangote is talking to government. If you try that one, your shop, they will just destroy it. So you need to be big. The way you get big is other small businesses like you, not just yourself. You come together. You go to the place together. You say, okay, who is in charge of this process? Okay, my brother, come. Let's discuss how I can make it easier for me and my people to be able to work with you. You understand? And then you say, okay, this is the process. This one is too difficult. This one is too difficult. Even if it's fee they want, we can make it official. The application fee is 20,000. 5,000 naira is a service fee. And it's official. And everybody knows what they are getting, and everything is fine, and there's no corruption. You know, corruption, the difference between what is corruption and what is not corruption is what we call it. That's the truth. Once it's official, it's a service fee. That's the truth. So you need to collaborate with yourselves to be able to engage government productively. Since the days of Pelewura with Lagos Market Women Association, no one individual has been able to engage government directly. It is a losing battle because they don't know you, they don't know your face, and you cannot hold them to account. But if you come together, if you went there with 1,000 small businesses like yourself, and you said, I need this process, we need this process to be designed like this, including what will be inside it for the civil service, it's okay. It's a fee. So everything will go smoothly. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
All right, thank you. So we'll take it offline.
Just to present
Yeah,
That's
no,
it,
so
I
we'll
forgot.
take it offline. I think, no, because she has some really good points, and I think it's important that at least she can talk to you about
No,
that.
absolutely. We can
Yeah,
talk.
so,
we can talk
right,
about it.
yeah. So
By the way, I don't work for the government,
Yeah.
but I engage the government regularly enough to understand how they
their
work.
MO.
I just spoke as a
All
supply
right,
chain
thank
specialist.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Please make
Thank you.
sure.
We'll make sure we
Yeah,
talk.
he's going to come and find you right
I'll come and
afterwards.
look for you.
Thank you. So please, a round of applause once again for Iyinoluwa Aboyeji.